And welcome once again to another episode of Do You Even Read? With my host, Ink Spots. What's up, brother?
Hey everybody, what's going on? Glad to have all you comic book lovers here with us in this great episode. I'm so excited. I love this comic.
Me too, dude. I remember discovering Evil Ernie. You know, I wasn't really allowed to read stuff like this when I was a kid. I remember discovering it and just being blown away. You know, I wasn't a little kid. I mean, I was older. I was a teenager. Because I wasn't allowed to read this stuff when I was younger. You know, and even still, you know, my dad was not super thrilled that I liked a character named Lady Death, and she looked the way she did. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing it going, I'm allowed to have this? Nice. I think my grandfather got me...
Go ahead.
I was going to say my grandfather got me an issue of Evil Ernie, and I know he had no idea what it was. He was just like grabbing comics, you know, and and so like I'm like, I got it, and I'm like, whoa! It was like I'm getting away with something. This is awesome.
Well, it's like sneaking out to watch a horror movie at night after your parents have gone to bed, you know?
Oh yeah.
It's like that you know, ooh, probably not supposed to have this or be watching this, but this is great. Yeah. Say what's up to the chat.
Oh,
Go ahead. What were you saying, man?
I was going to say the story is so disturbing, especially in this one. So yeah, it was definitely not for kids, but I definitely had it when I was a kid.
What's up, Christopher John? Good to see you, brother. Hope you're still hanging out with us. Oh, hey, we got a flying feline. What's up, flying feline?
Hey,
Thanks for coming to hang out. Michael Green says, old school Chaos Comics. Oh, right, Drooly. I'm right there with you, buddy. Good to see you, Michael Green. Hail, Shadowhawk. What's going on, brother? Thanks for coming to hang out. Michael Green says, the first time I saw Polito and crew was at WonderCon 96 in Oakland. They were selling leather and metal cover comic books and blasting rock music. Yes! I saw them as rock stars. I mean, that's how they were living back then, man, you know?
All of them. Even
like,
I remember
they were
the image
bad boys of comics.
Like yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they were like... I remember I heard a story where Liefeld was at a comic book convention, and he was selling those shitty gold foil Youngblood covers for like $250 a pop, and just like shoveling money in his pocket.
And I wonder how much those... I actually am curious. I wonder how much those are worth now. What's up, Replicant? Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming to hang out, dude.
I'm betting you can find dollar bin stuffed with them.
Oh, damn. What's up, Leg Kick? Good to see you, brother. How are you? Appreciate you being here. I know the professionals are going on right now, but you know it's Thursday, man. It's time for you. Do you even read?
Yeah,
and,
man.
You know, appreciate everybody watching this on the replay as well. Thank you guys so much. That's always awesome. By the way, there was a what's up, El Gargoyle? How you doing? There was a comment on our last video.
Oh, really?
Actually. Yeah, I want to bring this up. I've been meaning to respond to it in YouTube Studio, but I haven't gotten a chance to. Let's see. I swear I can do this.
I've been like reading comics more this week than I have in a long time, just because I found a huge pile that I had read and then kind of put to the side maybe like 5 years ago or something. So then I'm going back through and I'm finding all this good stuff. Walter Simonson, comic books. He's got a book called Elric. Do you remember him coming out?
Oh, yeah. Michael Moorcock?
Yeah. So
dude.
I found all the issues of that, and I was rereading that. And
the character that, what is it, that The Witcher is basically based on?
Uh-huh. Just
the original White Wolf.
But then just a ton of Buscema, the colored Conan issues that he did. The single issues. I found a big old stack of those that I must have bought at a garage sale. And
we need to do some Conan, like for real.
And so then I went on eBay and I reordered Savage Sword like beat up issues just because I want to have them. Like I have them digital, but it's like, no, I want to have the paper ones and like look through them and study every page. And there's so many good artists that you don't know got their starts in Savage Sword. Like there's Q-Bird in there. There's so much good stuff.
So many tremendous artists. Like seriously, we could literally do a series on just Conan and the various artists.
And then you got Barry Windsor Smith. You got Buscema at his best. I mean, John Buscema and Conan Savage Sword,
peak of his game.
Holy crap! He was doing like he was experimenting. He was having like he would just like he did that style where he just scribbles. And then he, with ink, and he does the character. Oh, it's amazing. He does great work.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna do some Savage Sword.
I would love to start with Windsor Smith's Red Nails. Yeah. I mean, even though it's his early work, there's still just some really good storytelling in that entire run.
And you really have to see the print edition because I have the digital Red Nails. It doesn't compare. I mean, it's the original. And the smell of the pages in there. It's just something about it, man. The physical copy is the way to go.
All right, so last week, Jason Black commented, "I'm 2 minutes into this, and I'm going to have to fight you in ink spots. I was loving the X titles at the time. You had Fatal Attractions, Gene and Scott's Wedding, The Phalanx Covenant, Generation X. All the books were casually overlapping with characters starting to visit each other and feel like a real lived-in universe with people who walked on their own. And while Age of Apocalypse was an incredible feat, they stopped this whole universe that was doing better than anything else they had going to do this 50-plus issue story arc. I never felt like we got back to how the X universe was. So, I'll see you down in the schoolyard after the bell rings," with a fist emoji. He says Blink was created for and died in the Phalanx Covenant. I don't think I've ever read the Phalanx Covenant.
Yeah, I remember it. I remember that.
I've read bits and pieces of it, but I don't think I've ever read the whole thing.
Warlock. Something with Warlock. It was the same, like, what he was made out of, and they were...
the Phalanx, yeah.
Yeah, I remember reading
He was just a rogue element of the Phalanx. Yeah. And then at the end of that, I do remember, they became Douglock, Warlock and Cypher. Of course, they've split them apart now. And they're both separate mutants, but I can't keep track of who's dead and who's not because they're all plant people anymore. Anyway.
Yeah. Just grow a new Wolverine. Just water it with blood.
Right? Anyway, I can agree with that, Jason Black. I
don't. For me, the titles had died off. I wasn't reading any X titles at the time.
Well, Fatal Attractions and Gene and Scott's Wedding had happened, quite a bit before Age of Apocalypse, from what I remember. Like, the Gene and Scott's Wedding was or Fatal Attractions was around X-Men 25, like issue 25 of the series that, that Jim Lee started. So, I mean, I think there's at least 6 or 7 years beyond that, So, I mean, the good X-Men books were there at the beginning, and then that was the tail end of the Claremont era. That's when good X books were still being told. And then, I see what you mean. So I think the time is compressed.
Out of all of that stuff, I was out of the X books. I wasn't interested. And then
I was still reading Wolverine.
It really was Wolverine missing his hand that I was like, I got to see what's going on.
I got to see what that is.
And then it was really X-Men Alpha with that brilliant chrome cover that was the first one I grabbed, and I was like, this is awesome. It was kind of new at the time. I don't remember seeing those chromium covers that, not one that looked that beautiful like that. That cover was just gorgeous. Joe Mad knocked it out of the park. So
agreed.
That was just me coming back into the X books, but I will give it to him that I left again shortly after that. I was done after Age of Apocalypse. So. Onslaught, it was crap. I hated Onslaught. That was so stupid.
I mean, I still have a lot of this stuff. I was still reading it back then. So I mean. I noticed a distinct decline in quality, but I was still still reading it. Yeah. But yeah, I was reading Wolverine at the time when Age of Apocalypse took over, and that whole like flash of Frozen, because like issue 126 was the issue. I actually have a like a boxing ticket poster up on my wall over here. Greg Hildebrandt brothers cover. Anyway, knockdown, drag out, just brutal ass fight between Wolverine and Sabretooth. You know, Sabretooth's been taunting him about shit, God knows what, and he's been left alone in the mansion to keep an eye on Sabretooth. And so he goes down there to try to talk to him for whatever reason, and they just throw down, just absolutely brutalize each other. And at the very end, he, you know, pops that third claw into Creed's head, and then the whole fucking universe freezes. Yep. So, I don't know.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, let's get to Evil Ernie.
Evil Ernie, Youth Gone Wild.
That's
the start
right.
of one of the at least most amazing comic horror writers that there is.
I don't think Conan's public domain. I think it's still owned by the Robert E. Howard family and licensed to Marvel for publishing.
Yeah.
What's up, Matt? Hey, brother. Good to see you.
Run on, listen. Yeah. The Kuberts are good on. I really like all the Kuberts except for the daughter, the new one, because she's more of a cutesy artist. So, you know,
I've seen her do some serious stuff. What was it? Miss Fury, that she did with Billy Tucci. She did some serious stuff there. I haven't seen anything else outside of that though.
Yeah, I think all I've seen from her is she has her own like series of books that she's doing right now. And they're more like cutesy teenager stuff, so not really my bag.
That's understandable.
But yeah, I mean, her dad, her uncle, and her grandfather were
What's up, Jason?
just amazing to me. So, especially Joe Kubert. I was so into Joe Kubert. I amazed by just the way he drew. I liked his strokes and his inks and just. Yeah, so. Anyway,
Agreed.
We should probably talk about Evil Ernie.
See, this is what happens when we just start talking about good comics. You know, good comics and artwork. You know, we can just ramble on.
So, this is the Evil Ernie Youth Gone Wild collects the first 5 issues of the series that are pretty much almost impossible to find on their own. They came out through Eclipse Comics, I believe.
And then Brian republished them under Chaos Comics.
Yeah.
Once he started his own imprint.
Yeah. So this is like the very, very beginning. You got Stephen Hughes just starting out. Even though he's just starting out, you can tell he's not where he ended up. He's still really, really damn good for a first comic. I don't know if this was his first
comic. Look at that fucking cover, though.
It's just gorgeous. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm sure this cover was drawn like after the series was done for the trade paperback, but I mean, you know, this is still Hughes' early work. This is, you know, what, 1991?
Yeah, 94. The
Really?
cover was May 94. Anyway.
Oh, the cover was 94. Okay.
Yeah, so it was later on, probably right when they started Chaos. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe the original stories were 91, somewhere in there. Let's see. If there is, yeah, December 91.
Wow.
So, and here we go. We got Brian Pulido and Stephen Hughes.
Yep.
And
2 of my favorites.
We lost Stephen Hughes.
Brian's my boy.
Due to cancer, which is a huge loss for comics because the dude was amazing. He got the dedication at the beginning. To Mom for lighting the fire and to Dad for pouring gasoline on it. That's pretty badass. And then Stephen, he just dedicates it to his son, which is awesome. Kid Chaos. I wonder if his son draws. I'll have to look into that. 'Cause that's pretty cool. And anyway, Evil Ernie is this abused kid who is abusive parents. Oh, look at Smiley.
I know.
And you don't really get to know what Smiley is at all in this first.
Not
5
really.
issues.
Yeah, they don't. He doesn't show up a whole lot. He doesn't do a whole lot, but yeah.
But he's still
you'd see
pretty
him.
damn cool. I have a tattoo of him on my arm, so that's how much
I want that on a shirt.
I got it on my arm.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's an abused kid. His parents kind of lie and basically tell, like a psychiatrist, that our kid, we just don't know what to do with him. He doesn't love us. He doesn't obey us. And so he gets, let's see if I can find where it first happens. More towards the beginning where they kind of tell it. They put him through a experimental dream, like a dream machine. And what happens is through that experience, Lady Death is able to kind of get in contact with him.
They're able to come into our world because she's kind of stuck in the nether realm.
Yeah,
whatever
it
it's
doesn't
called.
really explain what she is, what kind of entity she is, or anything in it. It's just she's this otherworldly entity.
Hates the living.
And she hates the living. And basically she takes this boy and says, he's not loved, his parents are abusing him. And she says, right here we go. So they put him in this experimental dream machine. And they zap him. And he ends up in the realm, in Lady Death's realm, the realm of the dead, or I'm not sure exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And then Lady Death shows up and saves him.
Realm of death. I think it eventually evolves into like she's ruler of hell. But God, look at that. This is, even though this is early, there's such a style. You know what I mean?
Now, I will say one thing about this book. The word balloons, I think Stephen Hughes probably drew them in, and then the letterer had to fit the letters into them. Oh, go back. I messed it up. Get back up there. Because a lot of the word balloons and everything are cut off in the book. And they didn't fix that in the reprint, so I'm guessing that was drawn into the original art. Maybe even lettered on the boards.
This is true. Shit, I will. You know what? I need to contact Ryan.
Let's zoom in.
Actually, no, he probably would not want to talk about Evil Ernie because, Dynamite owns the rights to Evil Ernie now, and that makes me intensely sad because they have absolutely no idea what they're doing with any of the Chaos characters.
He's one of those characters that was so tied to his creator that if Brian's not doing him, he's not being done right. So.
Nope. Nope. Well, I mean, come on. Evil Ernie kind of looks like Brian, especially from back then. Just kind of that. It's a look that he had. The leather jacket, the jeans, the rocker, punk rocker,
And the
with
crazy
the
thing
long
is,
curly hair.
He didn't end up being the flagship character. He was the first character, but he wasn't the flagship character. Lady Death just caught on fire. So.
Well, I mean, that's because she's badass.
Yeah.
And you've got an amazing artist like Hughes drawing her. I mean, come on.
His women, he knew how to draw women. So this is when Evil Ernie is still a little boy, Ernie Fairchild, and she says, "Would you like me to love you forever?" So she's like a pedophile. She's, like one of them school teachers. Like, hey, little boy. And the one thing I hate about this book is she keeps promising him, and he never gets anything. He never gets close. He gets a little close. Never happens, so.
Yeah.
Just Evil Ernie has some blue balls the whole time. He says, "Yes, I would like you to."
Well, that's not the kind of love that Ernie was looking for. That's the
thing. You don't
thing.
think
Ernie,
so?
No, Ernie was looking for actual other human affection. That's the kind of love he was looking for, a family.
Okay.
That's why, as a kid here, he's looking at Lady Death. Yes, she's fucking sexy as fuck, but he's looking at her like, yeah, I want, a mother figure. He wants to be loved like any kid.
Maybe it started out like that, but there's a page further on where I think where something flipped there, where he's looking for a little more than affection from.
Well,
Mama.
is that later? Because
this page
it's
here.
Later.
Okay.
This
is when he was a kid.
When he's older.
But I don't know. There's like some innuendo here because it's like I've waited an eternity for a sweet boy like you. It's like, okay, Lady Death, yeah. And
well,
so
it's the dialogue there kind of reminds me of the what is it, the Winter Queen, the White Witch in Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah.
Talking to Edmund. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, I never.
Kind of like that very, talking to a child language. A sweet boy like you. What are you doing here? Let me look after you. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Beautiful pages.
And then right here, this metal panel. So in his dreamscape, she slaughters his parents, and then she's down here. She goes, "Murder is rather simple. I'm sure you can do it." And he's like, "Yeah, me too." And there's just like this guts, like, and blood, just like draining down.
Yep.
And so basically, Evil Ernie goes home and slaughters his whole family. And then he proceeds to go down the block and slaughter 36 other people. And then, so we pick it up where this is all in his head. When he dreams, he goes and sees Lady Death. And just look how rad that splash page
right.
is. He's got the teddy bear. He's poking its eyeball out. Holy moly. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's funny to see how Lady Death's character evolved over the years. Because in this first instance, she's encouraging Megadeth. She's introducing
mass murder
Ernie
of the whole world.
Yeah. I mean, at least Lady Death was only going for the whole world. Mistress Death over in the MCU is like, nah, half the motherfucking universe got to go or more. Greedy bitch.
Oh, wow. So this is where he's dreaming and Lady Death is talking to him. If I give you power, what would you do with it? And he's just showing, I would, like, take over the world. I would, he's at the White House.
Mm-hmm. Storming with a tank.
What an ambitious young man. You'd really do that for me? Yeah. Yup. Promise. I hate the living. And then he goes, then she disappears. And so basically what's going on here is after he was the initial run through the machine, he's able to contact Lady Death. Now, years later, he's in a mental institution after killing all these people. And the doctor that put him through that first experiment is in charge of him. But there's this other younger lady doctor, and she wants to pretty much run like the exact same experiment on him again to try to cure him from being a mass murderer. And
this square-headed cop is like, you can't cure Evil Ernie.
Yeah, you can't do it. He's fucked up. He's not coming back. So, but of course, politicians get involved, and then
what's up, Johnny?
The green light is given, so they're going to do a second experiment on Evil Ernie, and the doctor decides, no, I'm gonna kill him. I should have killed him years ago. I should have took care of this. So I like his jaw is so crazy,
like crazy square. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like you can kind of see it's still early. Some stuff Hughes is not drawing that well yet. But like this is something that gets fixed like fast,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, even still, even the stuff that doesn't look as good, it's still, competent. It still holds together with the rest of the style. It's just the style hasn't quite coalesced yet. Into what it will be.
Okay, so So basically, after he pulls a gun, he tries to kill Evil Ernie. He gets hit in the head, thrown in his own mental institution. And then I love this part right here. So it's later on. Evil Ernie's in his jail cell. The doctor's in a jail cell just down the hall. And one of the guards says to the other guard, "You suppose the doc knows something we don't?" And then Evil Ernie just like right behind him, "Yes, he does." He's like, "This place is a nut house. I'm gonna go get a real job." He's like, "I'm fucking out of here." That'd be like
what?
You're locked up in next to a teenage Hannibal Lecter. Yeah. And so finally, the politician, and he's going for round 2. And this time, when he goes into, it's going to make his contact with Lady Death physical, like brings it into the physical world. So they put him through the dream machine. He sees Lady Death. She gives him the kiss, basically the kiss of death. And he gets imbued with his powers in the real world. Catches on fire. He's toast. He's dead. And then here we get Smiley the Satanic Button for the first time. And Evil Ernie. So this nurse basically gives him a gift. And he... Presents? Leather? Lovely leather? Ernie loves it. And he just like...
And he just rips her head off.
Her head right off. Look at this.
And then you can see Smiley tee.
Yeah, let me zoom in on that panel. That panel is... Look at that.
Snap!
Holy
hey, you hear
cow.
something? Sounded weird. Scared, huh? Got the creeps.
I think the grayscale, like this book really, horror books really lend themselves to grayscale.
I think so. It adds to mood. You know, I don't know. It's like watching I don't know, like a black and white, like watching the original Night of the Living Dead in black and white. You know, that vibe, that feel. You know, it gets that moody, that gritty mood across. You know, not necessarily noir, but like a gritty grindhouse vibe. You know,
I just love how you're able, like, the texture and everything in the gray. You know, you can see the texture, where the ink ran, and I love that.
Yep.
We got another. And so when he comes back to life, he's not only stronger, can't really be killed, but also anyone he kills, he basically can control the dead bodies. So it's like Night of the Living Dead. Like, they will do whatever his commands are.
Dead ones rule.
In the writing, he's like, he still has the mentality of like a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
he's kind of he's definitely a little stunted. That's why I contest it wasn't necessarily, you know, sexual thing at first, because he's mentally he's very young.
Yeah.
So 13 now, I guess.
Dead ones walk, they listen, they kill.
Dead ones rule.
Friends.
What's up, Sim?
Oh yeah, this
Absolutely love this book.
Look at that.
You know, and the thing is, when you read this as like a trade, it really does feel like a horror movie. Like, you know, it's the pacing of it really does feel like a fun, grindy horror movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely is. That's what I got. I get like a what did I say? He's like Hannibal Lecter, Freddy Krueger, just a younger version of all of them classic serial killer monsters, but he's younger and yeah, maybe less brains, I guess. I don't know.
Well, he's reckless. He's you know, like I said, he's like a 13-year-old kid, 16-year-old kid. You know,
Look at this.
Oh, that I remember the first time I came across that page, and I just sat there and I stared at it for
Yeah, he
like
just. So this is a guy that
hours.
used to work at the mental institution, and he quit because he didn't want to be around Evil Ernie.
Time's up.
So he gets sent back to. He works at the morgue now. He gets back to pick up Ernie Fairchild's body because he thinks he's dead. He answers the door and just tears him in two. It's freaking great. So the dude never escapes him, even though he quit his job. He still get. It's like holy shit. That's pretty good. A little turn. And then here they are driving the hearse. Evil Ernie's on the front of the hearse, and all the the ghouls are hanging out the door. It goes into a block party, and chaos. Just look at that. That's a pretty cool.
Man, what a
spread.
2-page spread.
I like how he did like the bottom of him is like a skeleton, and then it's just great.
Oh yeah, the character design for Evil Ernie is fucking cool.
And then when he is in color, he's got like this green light like emanating out of all of his cavities and everything. So that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, he gets more powerful as he goes on, and you know, kills more people.
Ah, God, that's so good. So basically, the two doctors team up. They're gonna go out and they're gonna kill. Fix their mistake. They made him. They're gonna try to get rid of him. Then Evil Ernie finds out that one of the doctor's family, because he finds one of her cards, and he sends his ghouls to kill her whole family.
Yep. And see, this is what I mean by like it feels like a horror movie from like that slasher era.
Yeah, it's written just like one. Yeah.
It's one of the things I love about it.
I find it odd
what's up, Brian? What's up, Rick?
Hey guys. I find it odd that the doctor was always prepared for Evil Ernie to go nuts.
Right.
It's like he stockpiled weapons. He's still like the head of the mentalist institution, and he's taking care of Ernie Fairchild. But somehow he knows something's gonna happen, and so he's been stockpiling weapons and everything ready for this day.
Well, you hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yeah. And it's kind of odd that the girl, she goes from like a really gentle kind of person. She wants to save these serial killers and cure them. She seems to switch pretty fast over to vigilante mode.
Well, when you see a bunch of people slaughtered, I mean...
But yeah, I think the only like, you can see like how bad the lettering is, how big the balloons are, the lettering's over to one. And even on some pages, the lettering is actually cut off by the balloons. So, yeah, the lettering is the only thing, and I think it's probably because maybe they didn't know there was paste up for the word balloons back then. Maybe they just thought they were drawn right on the page because they were...
Well, I mean, a lot of word balloons used to be,
Yeah. Ooh, we got another splash.
Man, dude, I would love to get my hands on one of these original splashes.
I know, imagine
Holy
having that hung
crap,
up on
dude!
your
Can you
wall,
imagine?
Dude. Look at that, Lady Death.
Look at that hair.
So he's sleeping now, and this is the part where it gets a little sexual. Cause he's, what a sweet boy. You're one in a billion, Evil Ernie. You make me so happy. You know I hate the living. But when they die, I can hardly describe it. It's so lovely. I feel their pain and their suffering. I've never known such pleasure and such sweet revenge. Keep up the good work, my love. And so, go up here. Let's find the spot. It's just all action too. I mean, it's all action. It's a fun book. Let's see. Look at that. Even that
Yeah.
sketchy. That's just great.
I love that.
What a page.
Right?
What's up, docs? Little Bugs Bunny action.
And then Smiley.
Yeah, there's the double pager.
You know what? I'm going to look something up. I have a hypothesis.
Okay.
Let's see.
So Lady Death is able to come into our realm through the blood of Evil Ernie's victims. So when she wants to talk to him, without him having to go to the dream world, now she can enter through any of his victims, but only for a short time. And basically she's here like just telling him he's wants revenge against the doctors that did it to him. But Lady Death has come back going, no, you need to stick to the program. You need to kill everybody instead of wasting time on this petty revenge plot. But this time he doesn't listen to her. He decides he's going to go get some revenge anyway.
All right, so my hypothesis is that Cletus Cassidy is based on Ernie.
Yeah.
Like that, the whole demeanor, the attitude, just without the whole supernatural thing, and then you give him a fucking symbiote.
Yep.
That's my hypothesis, because as we're going through this, I'm being reminded of what I thought, when I first read this, which was obviously after I had already been introduced to Carnage. And I was thinking, wow, this is kind of like Carnage, but this came out first, 91.
Okay, so let's this is where you're wrong. I think you're wrong. Or maybe you were right at the beginning, but he changed, because here he is. Yeah. He goes to sleep, and now he's going to get his reward for all the murder that he's done. And so it says, inside Evil Ernie's mind is a nightmare, neither world.
Thanks, Fade.
Of his own making, where all is dead or dying. It is his sanctuary, his evil place. It is his fantasy. So he comes up and he has a box of candy and flowers, and he says, Lady Death, and he makes his way up to her mansion. And there she is. Hello, Ernie. You've been a good boy. Have you come for your reward? Is that it? She's wearing her lingerie. A good boy. Yeah. Find me and I'm yours. She takes off her clothes.
Yep. Okay.
And so then we got.
He's older now. Like,
and then we even get this where she's in the bed, and he gets on top of her and everything. Like, he's ready to go. Yes. There. See, I mean, he's going for the goal, and then the door. Someone knocks on the door and interrupts his whole thing. He comes back to the real world. It just happens to be one of the doctors trying to get some help, but she knocked on the wrong door. The worst door she could have knocked on. Because not only does Evil Ernie hate her and want her dead, but she just cockblocked him. So now it's done now. So rad. Again, Stephen Hughes. Wow.
I mean, you can even see like a bunch of growth as the story goes on, and just
because he's figuring out layouts. The character.
Yeah,
I get that when I'm coloring people.
Notice that we get more of these badass splashes as the story goes on. What were we saying?
Oh, I said I get that too when I'm coloring people. Like, I don't know how to color them at first, and it takes 5 or 10 pages before you're like, oh, right, now I know what works best with this person's artwork or whatever. So you kind of, it's the same thing when you're drawing a character. You kind of, you figure out who they are and how they look best, what's their best angle, and yeah.
Nice.
So she blasts Evil Ernie right like point blank. Of course, he don't die. He just gets up. Oh, right here
Mm-hmm.
we see a little bit of Smiley. Smiley like emanates energy after Ernie gets shot in the head, and then basically he's resurrected. So maybe that's we get a little glimpse of Smiley and maybe what his purpose is.
It's kind of like a guardian of Evil Ernie. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, these pages get way better. And I see a ton of... Do you see a lot of Todd McFarlane and Stephen Hughes? Like, that was kind of one of his influences, I think. Because especially, like, early on, the way he drew some of the faces.
I mean, some of the exaggerations, sure, I can see that. I mean, Todd was going for some of that cartooning, that exaggeration as well.
And he
so,
did,
yeah, I
like,
can see that.
the newscaster thing, where the newscaster was talking and stuff, like Todd used to do in
Well,
in
I mean,
Spawn.
Todd got that from fucking Frank Miller doing Dark Knight, man. I mean, that Dark Knight was,
okay.
Dark Knight did that first. Simpsons did it. Man.
And so basically, Evil Ernie screws it up. He's gone off the reservation, and Lady Death is just pissed off because she was right on track.
Yeah, she found somebody to do her bidding for the first time in, however long.
So now
She's
Evil
trying to get
Ernie's
back to
going to visit the doctor's family himself, and he's going to take care of business on his own. Dude, check that out. Looks like
Awesome.
Slash from Guns N' Roses. Let's get a close-up of that one. Yeah.
I love the balance, because with black and white comics, you when you look at it, it's got to have a balance. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You got to be able to tell what's going on.
You got all this detail in dark blacks.
Mm-hmm.
You get a little less detailed in the middle ground, and as it goes back, the building's just, sparsely detailed, so you have this contrast as it goes back and further into space.
Well, it gives the atmospheric perspective too, because everything that is closer is thicker, darker, and as you get further away, it gets lighter and and harder to see, misty.
This would be the page that I would want. I would love to have this page just hanging on my wall, man. This page is rad.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look how good that would look. Ah. Let's frame it, put it on my wall.
I wouldn't mind having that one. I mean, just look the hair. I fucking love the hair.
Yeah.
Just like using that otherworldly hair to to give that presence on that page. Love it.
Yeah, and she's trying to tell him what to do again, and he ain't listening. He ain't listening.
You're
He's
no
over
fun.
it. He knows she's just a trick. She's just a tease. He ain't getting nothing. It's like, whatever. You're just a thought.
He's just hell-bent on his revenge. Yeah.
He's
So
got the
great.
power. He's gonna take his revenge.
So he finally gets face to face with her family, and he's going to tear him up, and they arrive. One big happy family. And somehow he's got this huge ass gun, missile launcher. I don't know how a psychiatrist gets a missile launcher, but somehow he's got one. Look at this thing.
What's up? What about?
It's like a
The
space
fucking
gun.
cannon.
Man. Like a spaceship gun.
Hey, Pops.
She blasts him. He missed Mary. Wow.
What a cool page. I mean, can you tell that they're having fun
Oh yeah, that's what
doing this?
You don't see that anymore, and
Well, there's an energy transference when you're having fun and you're making these pages. You know what I mean? Like,
look at the blacks, how he spotted. That's what I notice now. Nobody spots blacks. Have you noticed that? Like a lot of newer comic book artists, it's all line work. They leave
Yeah.
everything for the colorists to do. They don't
Yep.
spot their blacks or anything, and it's like
that's why it kind of looks kind of dead to me. a little
Yeah,
bit.
look at this. Just,
You know, I gravitate to artists that do, like Dave Finch and Greg Capullo.
and
know?
see where he reversed it here. Instead of it being lighter in the background and darker in the foreground, then he just reverses it, and now it's darker in the background, and as things go forward, they get lighter. So you can do it either way.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well,
pretty cool, man.
because there's fire all around. You know,
Yeah.
that gives the effect of like the background being
And
darker.
see, on
because-
this one, it's the opposite. On this one, you got the dark, and then it's going lighter in the background, and then he just
Well,
does it the opposite way.
yeah. See, but also that drags the eye, that moves the eye, because you've got the crater in the center there. The smoke going up, or and that pulls the eye down. You get the light up top at the top panel, and then the dark underneath, and then you've got the dark of the forest back there that then pulls you down to the lighter, of the middle panel. And her hair, I mean, it's a tremendously well laid out page and balanced, because even look down here at the bottom three panels versus
yeah.
that one long panel of her cape and the hair, like the spotted black of her cape over there balances out all of the black, and then the kind of heavier black tones at the last panel there at the page.
Well, it's got so much, like, it's pretty much a talking head bunch of panels, right? But it's still interesting. It's not it's not just a bunch of talking heads. There is action. We got them hugging. Like, you could feel drama, emotion going on here. Like,
The characters are emoting. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the characters are relating to each other, and yeah, it's not. It's like I see a lot of pages that are just like static. Like, you look at it, it's just like, here's a head, here's a head, here's a head. They're just talking. There shouldn't be any boring pages in a comic book. You basically have an unlimited budget, so every panel, every page in a comic book should just have ultimate action. There should always be movement, whether you're doing that with tones and shadow or line or move. Just it should look like it's moving, like something's happening on every page. And this this page right here has it in every single panel. Yeah, that's gorgeous work.
Mm-hmm. Well thought out page. It tells the story. It moves the eye. And here we go again.
And so here we have the politician. He finds Smiley, the satanic button, and he pricks his finger, which that can't turn out well. He's already feeling sick before he even leaves. And then at the end of the book, we see him lying in bed at home, and his arm is just starting to... Oh, I didn't notice before. Did you notice they have the smiley faces on them?
No.
Look at the little blisters have smiley faces on them. Oh. I didn't notice that till just now. So he gets pricked by
awesome.
The button, and then he's getting these, like, something's happening. He's transforming. We've seen the last of the Psycho Plague. The end. Not really.
Just the beginning.
So then I think we get a little sketchbook back here, which is just amazing.
Chaos.
Yeah, this was the beginning, and he's still going. He's going strong. Every campaign's a success. Every single one. Just about everyone's $250,000 or more. And he was doing it before anybody. He already figured this stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah, I've been backing all the new Lady Death stuff since it started. And the funny thing is that Brian has kind of recreated his universe now.
Yeah, Lady Death's a different kind of character now, right?
Well, no, not much different. I mean, she's she's changed. She's a little more sympathetic than she's portrayed in the early Evil Ernie issues. Let's just say that. But she's still the same badass.
So this is an alternate sequence. I actually like this alternate sequence better than the one that actually ended up in the book. Because remember before it had that middle one where they're looking and then the blood was like they were cut in half and they were standing there.
Yeah.
Kind of like this one better.
That actually flows a little bit better.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know. Maybe the panel with them standing next to each other, was necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's it, guys, and it is definitely a recommend. It's not super expensive. It can still be bought, I think, for around $8 or something. So
The trade.
Yeah, the trade.
Nice.
And if you can find the first issues, what they're supposed to be pretty much non-existent, gobble them
Limited
up
print
because
runs.
There wasn't very many of them. And then later on, stuff started being in color and stuff. But the color looked great too. I mean, that cover is amazing. So
it really is. Well, happy birthday, Pops! Thanks for coming to hang out with us, man.
Hey,
Smiley. Let's see. Brian is golden. Yeah, Brian keeps doing awesome stuff. He tries different things, and he tried that Zack the Zombie Exterminator that didn't quite catch on. So he pivoted, did Hell Witch, and just building the Coffin verse. I'm excited to see where he's going to go with that. And I finally, where is she?
And if you think about it, this story was such a twisted little story. You got this child that's egged on by like a big-titted woman to murder his family in half the block, and he goes along with it. It's disturbing, especially when you think about when I read this, I was maybe like 12 years old, so probably wasn't the best thing for me to be reading.
Well, I mean, a lot of 12-year-olds were watching horror movies at that time, and I mean, it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah, I was a Freddy Krueger kid, I
there you go.
Freddy Krueger was hilarious. I thought it was like a comedy or something. It really wasn't a horror movie to me, so. But there was something about this book that made me, like I said, I was like, I shouldn't be reading this, and it's awesome, So.
Oh yeah, and you understand that this is something special, and I need to appreciate this.
Yeah.
There was definitely some magic about this, because once Lady Death got introduced and started becoming more popular, it kind of helped usher in the whole bad girl phase of comics.
Yeah, was she the first one?
She was one of the... Actually, yeah. I think she was the first one. Because, Brian was doing his thing, and Billy went to a convention, and, Brian's like, well, why don't you just do your own stuff, man? Like, shit. Do your own
the
book.
Bad Girls, I remember Lady Death, and then, what was Lindsay's? The redhead with...
Dawn.
I remember Dawn and Lady Death as being, like, some of them, like, the earliest... like bad girl characters I remember. Yeah.
I mean, Vampirella's been around since the 70s, but like the bad girl craze really kind of got kicked off by Brian Pulido.
Yeah, when that started going, they kind of redid Vampirella to fit more in with that whole bad girl stuff. A
little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, this was also around the era.
Frazetta did her, and she was always like some hot pale chick, so...
Oh yeah, I had to get this one. It's actually not even on camera. Well, damn. Here we go. Speaking of Frazetta.
Yeah, there you go. He did a few of her, didn't he? I remember one where she's like standing by a column.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of I want to say like 3. I can't.
Yeah, he says, don't forget she.
That's what I'm talking about. Billy saw Brian at a convention. Billy was trying to get work from the big two. And, he was talking to Brian because Brian was over there doing his thing with Chaos Comics. And Brian's like, dude, just make your own fucking book.
The only thing I have to say about she is, do you know how many numbered copies of she I have with certificates on? And they're not worth anything. He sold a lot. He must have sold a shit ton of copies of those books back in the day, because they're not worth nothing, and they're all over the place. So.
The first run or the
I'm
the
not sure.
miniseries that come
I have
after.
like a whole. I think I have 9 or 10, and they're all signed by Billy, and they have a certificate, numbered certificate, like 1 to 5,000 copies, and there's tons of them, and they're still worth like
wow.
$2 or something.
Yeah.
So he must have sold a lot of copies.
Listen, when she came out, very popular. Very popular. Yeah. And, he was printing them like mad.
So, yeah, we hope you like this, and we hope you do go pick up, if you can find it. Just get a trade. They're not very expensive, especially if you go digital. I think the digital was around the same price as buying the print copy, though, so it may be worth just grabbing you a print copy and going with it. And what are you thinking you want to do for our next one? Do you want to do Conan Red Nails for the next one?
Fuck yeah, man. I am all about that.
Because I know we already did Barry Windsor Smith, but that book's just such a classic.
Man, can we ever do enough Barry Windsor Smith? Come on now.
You can't.
Like, for real.
I got this digital, the unwrapped David Finch Batman.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
Man, I love his line work.
Yeah, I love his raw pencil work. It's amazing. Dude, he's one heck of a painter, too. If he wanted to
really
be a
is.
painter, he could be an amazing... He naturally gets it, so... Because he did those couple of acrylic paintings, and they were just gorgeous. Look at that. Got the dinosaur, the penny, everything.
Holy crap.
Just cool.
Wow.
The vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's do Red Nails.
Red Nails.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's do the... And, I think Conan is one we can come back to over and over again because there's a lot of fucking
There was different
good stories.
eras of Conan. You have Cosima, and I'd love to look at the Kubert books that he did in this series. So
For sure, man.
Yeah, so if you guys have Red Nails, again, that's another trade that you can pick up pretty cheap. I was looking at them to see how much mine was worth. It's not worth a lot. Like, again, it was like $9. So, yeah, and that is definitely one where you want to get the paper copy. There's just something about it that reading it on the original, the paper and getting that smell, the tactile, flipping the pages, that's the only way to read that book. So the digital versions just really overdid the color and flattened everything out, so it just doesn't look as good. So
yeah, the thing the thing about it is the color, on that paper, they accounted for it, and when you don't print it on that paper or try to replicate that feel, it doesn't work. The colors look wonky because they're not. It's like not calibrating your monitor. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You're calibrated for something else, and then it prints out completely fucking wrong. So.
And
Anyway, I want to thank you guys all for coming to hang out this evening. What you showing me here? What's this?
Oh, I was just looking. I was gonna say that we should probably do one where we do the Jim Lee run on the X-Men. So.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that next? Do you want to do Red Nails next?
I want to do Red Nails next. What do you think? Yeah.
All right. You guys heard it here first. Next, Do You Even Read? We're going to go over Conan Red Nails. It was in Savage Sword of Conan back in 1978? 77? Fuck, I can't think of
Long
my
time
head.
ago.
Long time ago in a galaxy
I think
far,
before
far
I was
away.
born. It was the year before I was born. So.
I would appreciate that, old dirty fatty. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Just doing my thing over here, trying to have interesting shows. I want to cultivate more stuff like this. I want to talk about the stuff that we love about comics, man, because there is a lot to love about comics. There are some amazing stories, and both back then and being created now, and I want to celebrate that.
Yeah, there's a lot of noobs that have just come into comics for the first time because of Comicsgate. And they really should know what came before because there was so much awesome
Well, it's the stuff that's inspired the people that they like now. you know?
Yeah.
And that's
where we came from. You know?
Exactly. You know, that's the reason why the stories were so good, you know, when we were growing up, is because the people that were making them grew up reading stories, and they wanted to tell stuff like that. They wanted to tell fun, entertaining stories that same way. So we need to invest in, you know, the youth, you know. We need to invest in them to want to read comics, you know.
Because it would be a shame if comics went away.
Comics will always be made in some form or another. It's just the specific type of comic that we grew up with.
Yeah.
You know,
it's such a beautiful art form. It
is.
And
it's an amazing way to tell a story.
It's a cheap art form too, so it should be accessible to everybody. So,
agreed.
Yeah, especially now with digital, everybody should be able to read comics, and so it should be something that anyone can get their hands on. I was going to say, if you are watching this now or if you're watching it later, if you would copy the link, share it to Twitter.
Please.
That'd be awesome, guys. If we could get some more subs in here, and go ahead and grab a copy of Conan Red Nails. We do these every 2 weeks, so you got 2 weeks to read it. And then then you can discuss it with us in the chat if you want. Or if you want to come on panel with us, everybody is welcome. If you're on Twitter, all you got to do is DM Luke or myself, and we will get you set up on the panel, and you can come in and discuss it with us. If there's certain things you disagree with us about, all that stuff, please hit the like and leave a comment down on the bottom. If you have something to say, that'd be great, guys.
Appreciate the interaction. Absolutely. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, we will see you later.
Later, everyone.